Hey, what is up guys? Tao here, back here with another video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. Guys, today's project is going to be OpenLedger, also known as Open. Now guys, this is a $40 million market cap project, and really, it's going to be an AI infrastructure project, and it allows you to deploy, train, and even contribute data to this ecosystem while getting paid in open tokens. And you have to also pay in open tokens if you want to train your AIs. So we're going to go more into this later, but they have an FTV of 185 million, 24-hour volume of 9.3 million, circulating supply of 2.15 million, and then a total supply of 1 billion. So the all-time high, guys, was about 1.82, which makes it sit right around at a 400 or 390 million dollar market cap, so much higher than where it is now. But yeah, just keep that in mind, guys. You can also see on the chart they've been out for literally 11 months, so they're still pretty new. They're not that old or anything, not as new as some of the other projects, but overall nothing too bad about it. So let's go over to their site. And guys, we always like to test out the site, and the reason is if an investor just hears about this project today, the first thing they're going to do is go to the site, right? And so we need to see, can their site give us the necessary information about who they are, why should I care about it, and what should it matter to me? Like, what are they solving? What's so special about this project? So without further ado, let's get a quick stopwatch right on the screen. 3, 2, 1, 30 seconds. So next gen blockchain network for AI. AI blockchain unlocking liquidity to monetize data, models, and agents is a foundation for trusted AI. Okay. Purpose-built AI, model training to agent deployment. Data, models, and agents are no longer static assets. EVM compatible infrastructure, and then proof of attribution. So ensures all contributions are traceable, verifiable, and fairly rewarded. So you got the Datanet, on-chain data collaboration, ModelFactory, open chat. Okay, that's pretty cool. Got their ecosystem, backed and supported by Polychain. Okay, these are pretty big names, guys. Coming down. Okay. I mean, guys, listen, they got about 50 seconds. And to be honest, I will say a few things. Number one, I think they explain their actual products pretty well, right? When you have, just a couple sentences to explain it, I think they really made it clear that what they're trying to do is make actual like AI training and AI agents and all these stuff, make them liquid. Now, what that really means, they didn't go too much into it, right? But we know the project, we know what it's talking about. But overall, one thing I will say is it seems like some of their sections are actually broken. Like it talks about ModelFactory, yet this is Datanet. Is it the exact same thing? Yeah, model Datanet and the ModelFactory. Seems like it's just the same thing. It is what it is. A few other components were broken too, guys. When I was looking at them, it's not the biggest deal, right? Sometimes you have a site that just like doesn't work, but like it's not like it's horrible. Just one little error. Most people would completely miss it. Okay. But overall, guys, nice site. I would like to see a team section on the actual site, but it is what it is. You know, um, overall, you can just you have to go look for that information online. Okay, guys, aside from that, let's go straight into their documentation and really talk about what they do. So, guys, OpenLedger is an AI blockchain infrastructure project, and it's made for training, deploying specialized models using community-owned datasets. And you might be like, okay, Tal, what are these datasets? Well, guys, basically, let's say we have a dataset that's already been built, and it's for, let's say, legal information in Europe. You can go in, you can upload information yourself. You can upload files, text, audios, whatever it is, and you can put it within that data set. And then whenever someone trains an AI, they will use your data set. And if they do, then you get paid for them. And so that person who's training that AI, they also need to use your data set, and they also need to use a token. So you're getting paid based off of what they use. Now, this exact concept is called Proof of Attribution, and they have a full paper on this as well, guys. So I do really appreciate that. But really, guys, it's very simple. Basically, the idea is we need to be able to understand that from the output of the AI, we need to understand that there is going to be some contributions that were made. So as long as we can prove from the actual output, we can trace it back to the actual contributor and the person who gave that data, then we can pay that person. Now we can go to the paper, guys, and I'll be honest, there's one thing that sort of threw me off. If you guys come down to the actual references, the first reference that they had, this citation right here, you can take the archive or archive ID, and if you actually go to the archive site, you can see, guys, that the actual like people who wrote this and who wrote this paper are different than what was listed here. Now, I did ask the team about this, so I'm just waiting for a response. Like, this isn't too big of a deal, but again, it's kind of weird that the name's a little bit different, right? Just a little bit. And then also that the paper who's it's written by is also cited differently. So that is one thing that kind of threw me off. Not a big deal, guys, really, but just keep that in mind. This is something we should keep in mind when we're going forward. We want to see these details be, correctly written. Okay. Anyways, that's going to be proof of attribution, guys. And now there's something else called ModelFactory. You might be like, okay, well, what the heck is ModelFactory, right? What do you mean fine tuning? Well, guys, a lot of times when people want to train AI models, right, they don't want to train an AI model from 0 to 100, right? Meaning that starting from a base model, you teach it English, coding, everything from 0 to 100. So what a lot of people do is they take already made AI models. For example, Llama 3 or even Kimi, or even Quen. Like, these are the AI models we've been talking about so much, guys, on the streams and in the videos and in the night lives and everything. And so what they do is they take these actual AI models and they add extra information to fine tune them, meaning to add this more information as something that it can learn. Now, the thing is, a lot of times it's going to be pretty expensive and it can take a lot of time. It's pretty advanced. But what ModelFactory does, it's saying, okay, let's make this very simple. You literally put a name, a base model, the exact data net that you want to actually use, or the data set that you want to use. You train it, you pay for it, and then you're done. And so they make it very easy to actually fine tune these all within their ModelFactory. Now, they have something on core concepts, guys, how you can choose it, the fine tuning process. You have like LoRa, QLoRa. This just means quantized LoRa. Don't be too worried about it. They have a chat interface so you can actually talk to them. Again, all of these things are there. Supported models, all these supported models, right? But one thing you guys have to keep in mind is if we go down to OpenLoRA, you might be like, this is actually the most important thing, probably. Guys, listen, one thing that we have an issue with in the AI space, for example, and this is something that's been solved with LoRa, and now they're implementing LoRa within their project as well, calling it OpenLoRa. But LoRa basically says, well, the traditional way is you have one AI on one GPU. LoRa says, wait a minute, we can have thousands of AIs on a single GPU. The reason is they just allow it to fit on there. Now, does that mean, okay, now you can just like fit like a million AIs on there? Well, no, there's still, performance issues. You can't actually run that many AIs, but the point is it makes it a lot easier. You want to train them, makes it a lot easier, especially for the lower end models, guys. You guys can put 2, 3, 4, or 5 different models on the single GPU. Now, even putting thousands of them at the same time, right? This is still completely possible, and you guys can actually go through this and like look into it. But it's very cool piece of tech. To be honest, it's not like something I would say like it's a big change. It obviously makes it a lot faster, but it's not like, oh, now the average person can go at home and start training AIs like all the time. Like, it's not that simple, right? But overall, especially if there's companies who are working on stuff, great piece of tech. Now, guys, let's go over the actual workflow. So how this would work. Okay, so we first choose some sort of foundational model. And then we actually choose some sort of fine-tuned adapter. So again, there's different stuff. You have pretty base, etc. Then what we do is we actually go and use that actual adapter. We add in some sort of data set. We use, let's say, ModelFactory, and then we actually implement it. Now, this is specifically for LoRa, but I just added those in to show you how this would happen. And one thing they have to do, again, guys, is you have to pay with the actual token itself. So that is actually one thing they really do appreciate, because when you make people pay with the token itself, obviously the value comes back to the token. Now, we can go over to the use cases. You guys can see AI deployment at scale, cost-effective AI servings, and personalization and fine-tuning. So again, pretty cool. Now, if you go over to the future, and what they talk about is just the difference between LoRa and traditional like model deployment and how they work. Again, you can obviously see the differences between them. So once again, very cool that they have all of that. Now, the one last thing is going to be OctoClaw. OctoClaw, guys, is they have an application for it. To be honest, it feels a little bit weird, but basically it's like an agent like design like portal, for example, web app, whatever you want to call it. And this application allows you to make different agents and to work with them and create them. One thing I will say, I don't know, to me, I'm not the biggest, like fan of downloading stuff and having to actually download things from the internet. But this is just one thing that you guys can do. Personally, I would like, I'm not saying, to avoid or whatever. But one thing is that these Telegram bots can actually like execute actions on your behalf, right? So I believe they can trade, they can do all of these different stuff. So be very careful if you guys are using this. But again, I didn't touch this, I didn't go through it. I just don't like downloading stuff. Okay. Now, guys, aside from that, let's move over to their actual Twitter and see what's up there. So you guys can see they have about 400,000 followers, right? Now, for some reason, they haven't made a post in the last 2 weeks, guys, and this kind of throws me off. There's other projects like this that have done the same, but really, these guys have been here for like almost a year, so you want to see the consistency there. Their engagement is pretty low, like 26, 30, 40 likes on some of their posts. They used to post, I would say, like every other day, every 2 days sometimes. Some days they would have like gap, like 2 or 3 days, but overall, not like the biggest problem there. But even their actual foundation, they haven't basically made a post in a year. So the project itself has, but the foundation not in a year, which is understandable. A lot of times within the bear market, you want to consolidate. You don't want to be spread too thin. But again, I would like to see this like, coming back up and for them to actually start working again. Because yet again, guys, like, man, this isn't what you want to see. You want to see real active activity happening. Now, aside from that, guys, even their Discord, very slow. Like their Discord's maybe a few messages a day. Overall, not many events happening, very dead. So kind of sucks, but sometimes the bear market does foster those sort of you know, unfortunately, it can lead to that sort of actual, community and engagement. Now, guys, let's go over their actual tokenomics. So, firstly, they're an ERC20 standard token. They have a total supply of 1 billion, initial circulating supply of 21.55 billion. And, guys, you can see their community gets about 51.7%. Their liquidity is 5%, ecosystem 10%, the team is 15%, and the investors are 18.3%. So, number one, I already appreciate that. The team and the investors are 33.3%. Listen, guys, again, I'm not the biggest fan of that. But at the same time, a lot of projects now are coming out at 50% being for the team and for the investors. So I'll say, overall, I like it. The lower, the better. Honestly, for fair launch, even better. But sometimes you can't really choose. Now, going over to the actual token distribution, guys, you can see their unlock schedule. You can see right about 1 year cliff for the majority of stuff. And this is where I'll be very careful because this is where they actually start unlocking a lot of tokens. Now, keep in mind, it's on a linear schedule, meaning that it's not like we get like some sort of huge unlock, but I would rather have had, let's say, only one thing being unlocked at the 12-month mark, another thing being unlocked at the 18-month mark, something like that. And when you have that, it just reduces the amount that's being unlocked at a specific date, which is usually what you want to see. Going over the actual utility, guys, we talked about the proof of attribution, paid through that. Gas transactions, paid through that. Governance participation, you need to use that. Model training, this is very important. Again, you need to use open. And then interface payments. So guys, what you can also do is if someone actually makes the model and puts the model on open, someone else can actually come and use it and they can be paid for it. So if you train a model, you get it like me working really well for specific use case, you can actually come on open and say, hey, who wants to use my model? Now, overall, guys, their unlock schedule is going to have a 1 year cliff for both investors and the actual team, which is pretty good. But really, what's very important here is going over to the OpenLedger buyback program. So, guys, this was sort of like a mistake that they made as an issue by accident. Seems like, they initially allocated 5% for liquidity and 2% for ecosystem growth. And part of a rapid expansion, 4.5 of the allocation was actually directed towards rewarding enterprise data contributors, accelerating adoption, growth, whatever. And so what they did is, let's say they're like, okay, a lot of it was used. There was some sort of mistakes. Well, it's not really a mistake. It's like it's half for half, right? But they're saying, you know what? We should do some buybacks to bring back the liquidity pool to its actual strength, what we wanted to bring it to, because they're saying now it's like very little. So they did a quick buyback. Um, so they fully replenished it. Everything they did was well. So we do appreciate that. So that's one thing. Now, guys, if we actually go over to their actual foundation page, and this is one thing that I would say kind of threw me off when I was reading it, right? If you guys actually scroll down, so let's scroll down to section 2.23. If you guys actually reading this, very advanced math, not gonna even act like I'm gonna understand these Bayesian very base attributions or anything. But the one thing that kind of throws me off is here it says, here's the updated OpenLedger data attribution pipeline section with the correct math, current influence model, inference base, and free rewarded flow, all formatted to match your system and phrased cleanly. So I don't know, but to me that seems kind of weird. Like it sounds like some sort of like AI response in the middle of it. I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying that's what it sounds like. And to be honest, guys, I don't know, I just feel like this is a certain issue that I don't know if it's like an attention to detail or whatever it is. I might even completely be wrong about this. I have no issue like going back on what I'm saying, but it really throws me off to the point where they have like an AI response within their white paper. You have your paper, your actual paper that you wrote is cited incorrectly, one of your references. Again, if anything updates, if I find anything new about that, I'll let you guys know. But like these are the sort of things I found. So you guys can already tell when I see these sort of things, it's not necessarily that the project is bad or anything, but it's like, okay, I'm investing in a team, right? And I'm trying to actually, whatever you're putting, like, who cares? Even if you guys are putting, let's say, $10, you're still putting money at the end of the day. You're still taking a risk. You're investing in a startup. But then you're like, okay, how is their actual documentation? How is their work? Well, like this is something that's important. This is what investors are going to read if someone's trying to invest in your project. So again, I would rather them have something to actually show for it. Like, I hope this is not AI. That'll be very bad. But again, guys, just keep that in mind as a whole, right? It's I'm not saying it's like, just completely knocks the project off, but man, like there's a certain level that you would expect to have some sort of attention to detail. No, guys, aside from that, that's basically everything we want to talk about today. We went over their actual Twitter. I mean, even if you look at the OpenLedger Foundation, their Twitter, you can see they haven't had a post since basically January. So it is what it is. But again, I talked about this. They probably just don't want to spread themselves too thin. But anyways, guys, I mean, you guys can already tell the stuff that I would like improve from this. Obviously, when you have an academic paper or even a white paper, come on. I'm not like, if you have something written there, it's got to be professional, right? So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't mind going back on it. But solely from my perspective and the way I saw that, it's like, where's the attention to detail? Like, you have to be real about it, guys. There's no, hiding that sort of things. But anyways, guys, I mean, I'm going to have my rating within the infographic. You guys already know about it. So yeah, be sure to go on the Discord, check that out. Anyways, yep, that's going to be it for me, guys. Take care. Peace out. And I'll see you on the next.